last we saw Russell Wilson, he was proving his determination to be a professional quarterback in the National Football League by going through Newark Airport, flying from New York to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. After talking with the Giants, who I thought might be a great spot for Russ because they're going to need a Week 1 quarterback, whether Russ would still be the quarterback in Week 7 or Week 8 when Daniel Jones returns, or the fact Russ might be there showing a rookie quarterback the new ropes, being the Mr. Chips, while Daniel Jones was coming back from a knee injury / neck injury. And in my estimation, the Giants would like to move on from Daniel Jones lickety-split, but may not be able to this year. I thought that'd be a good spot for us. You're going to be the Week 1 starter. There's no competition. You're the guy. And when Daniel Jones comes back, we'll see how you're playing. I'm assuming that's what the setup for Russ was. Then he flies to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he meets with the Steelers. Meets with them on Friday. And then according to my colleagues at the NFL Media Group, I heard Tom Pelissero saying Good Morning Football today. I had another conversation with Mike Tomlin on Sunday. And the Sunday conversations yielded a video from Russell Wilson on his Instagram account saying, I'm going to Pittsburgh. And sure enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who apparently were not interested in a veteran quarterback from outside the organization to come in and compete for their starting gig with Kenny Pickett, who's currently the only quarterback on their roster signed, with Mason Rudolph getting set to hit free agency or be re-signed to compete with Kenny Pickett, which was the idea a couple weeks ago, forwarded by Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, who was on this program, saying that his sources said they were uninterested in bringing in an outside the organization quarterback, Justin Fields, being the one that everyone expected them perhaps bringing in because he's a young guy. And maybe he can have a future there. But no, they love Kenny Pickett. And how in the world is Russell Wilson now with the team? Simple. According to my colleagues at the NFL Media Group and other sources around the National Football League, he will cost the Pittsburgh Steelers a grand total of $1.2 million. $1.2 million for him to show up in Pittsburgh, PA, and put on a Steelers uniform. The Denver Broncos will be on the hook for the rest of his salary, $37.8 million. And guess who is scheduled to visit Denver this year in the 2024 regular season? The Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's entirely possible we may see, for the very first time in the history of the National Football League, a team paying the opposing quarterback $37.8 million to beat them. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. Now then, why am I using the conditional phrasing that we may see that? Because there's no guarantee Russ is the starter. I'm telling everybody this, and you're seeing it already from the conversations you're seeing out there on this story. This is going to be a competition. Laugh all you want, TJ. Laugh all you want.
Sure, it'll be a competition.
It's going to be a competition. The Russell Wilson of the first 8 years of his career has not shown up consistently on a football field for 3 years. The Pittsburgh Steelers know this. They're paying him $1.2 million. They haven't given up an ounce of draft capital to get him. They can easily tell him, here's a clipboard, here's an earbud. Certainly if Kenny Pickett shows up and performs like the first round draft choice, he was. And the Steelers really want him to work out. They don't want a first round draft choice from 2 years ago to be flushed down the toilet. But they're more than willing to push him and say, it's not a given. It's not a guarantee. And if he performs well enough, then Russ is going to be handed a clipboard and an earbud. And if he doesn't like it, There's the door. And I think he knows this. And it's wise for him to sign with Pittsburgh right here and right now. Because he signs and has a seat before the music starts today, or has already started 8 minutes ago. Because if you're looking for a job in the National Football League at quarterback, not going to Tampa, Baker Mayfield signed 3 years, $115 million with all incentives, all in, if he plays all 3 years and hits every single incentive. That seat's taken. What other seats are available? Well, entirely possible Minnesota might have a seat available today if Kirk Cousins signs with the Atlanta Falcons. If the numbers exchanged already in the last 9 minutes of this program are to Kirk Cousins' liking. If the Vikings keep him having a seat, then Atlanta will have a seat open. The Raiders have a seat open. Denver has a seat open. Guess who's not going to Denver? Russ. They already told him, there's the door. So Russ already looked at the landscape. And Tom Pelissero reported he tried to get a second year tacked onto his contract. A player's option, a massive player's option. Nobody was interested in that, including the Steelers. So there's writing on the wall, and it's Russ having to compete for his job. You don't believe it, huh? Why are you laughing? Because he's Russ? And Pickett's Pickett?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I just laughed because I said this for like 2 months ago. I felt like this was the spot for him to go, and I just don't envision a world where he goes there and he's not a starter. I understand there's going to be competition. I just feel that, like, I don't know. I don't know when I became such a Russ apologist. I think when people started to just
because he's a nice guy, and you're a nice guy, and you want it to work out.
And so I feel like I'm hoping him and Tomlin together will be enough to take them over the hump.
Because the eye in the sky doesn't lie. His numbers were better this year. The results were not.
Numbers were better, and then now he goes to a team with a coach who likes him, as opposed to, it seems like, one he had that didn't like him, an organization that didn't want him.
Well, I mean, Sean Payton learned to want to get a different quarterback. We'll see what Tomlin does. Because I believe there's going to be a real competition. And this is going to be great. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great story for
because
us to
let me ask you this question. Do you think Chris Brockman, Russell Wilson starts 17 football games for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Well, 17. Not many quarterbacks start all their games. Guys get hurt. Guys miss a game. I think he will be the starter for the whole year.
Okay. You think he'll be the starter for the whole year?
Yeah, not a knock against Kenny because I've been on record. I like Kenny. I don't know. I like stories, and I feel like this has the makings of it could go either. It could go south.
This feels like a competition, like Baker Mayfield versus Kyle Trask was a competition.
But that one they actually used capital to go get Baker Mayfield. You know.
But they didn't
like
have,
$4 million is not 1.2,
but
and
they
it
didn't
just
have the luxury of also the salary cap went up, so it's basically
and
same.
Kyle Trask had hardly played a game. Pickett has played games.
Not well.
I'll take the other side just for argument's sake, and also.
Do you think he doesn't start the whole year?
I think he does not start the whole year. I don't think he's guaranteed to start week 1.
Does he start week 1?
If I had to say right now,
yeah,
no.
Interesting. So cut before week 1?
I think no, not cut,
or just back up.
Yeah,
wow.
Because this is one of the greatest value deals ever. Because if Russell Wilson has the Russell Wilson of the first 8 years of his career still in him, Arthur Smith's offense is also very predicated on throwing the ball over the middle. You know what Russ has not really done up for 3 years? That.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will counsel against this whole thing of Russ is going to be the starter because he's Russ. He's got a name. He's got the patch. He's got a lot of people who love him, love rooting
He's
for
got
him.
a lot better players around him now than he's had in quite some time.
I would
Najee Harris,
agree
Jalen
with
Warren,
that.
Freiermuth, Deontay.
I would agree with
Pickens.
that. He's got an opportunity here,
Yeah.
which is probably why he signed there. I don't think Tomlin called him up on Sunday night and said, wink, wink. Tomlin doesn't strike me as a wink, wink guy.
No.
They met for 6 hours. Like, what were they talking about?
I don't know. A whole bunch of stuff. Scheme, opportunity.
Russ's new sandwich at Permane?
I don't know.
Oh, man. That's
Could be.
going to be
Because
delicious.
it's high on my damn agenda.
I have no idea, but it's going to be bear watching. Seriously.
Also, Rich, when you talked about Arthur Smith getting the OC job, wasn't the thing everyone said that the running backs should be happy? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so then the Steelers aren't looking for Russ to come there and throw for 4,500 yards, right? You're looking for him
Probably
to
so.
not turn the ball over, which he only had 8 picks last
Correct.
year. So you're not looking for
But you
him.
also don't want him taking sacks. The number of sacks he continues,
Taking sacks,
it's
yeah.
maddening.
Yeah.
It's maddening. And you look at the first 9 seasons of his career, in his last 3, I should keep saying 8. We'll include 9. They're not the same guy. They're the same named guy. So, like I said, he's got an opportunity. He was very smart to get the chair before the music even starts, because once the music starts, he had a heads up. He had a heads up, and the Broncos, of all the things that they did that I'm sure he's not terribly happy about, the one thing is they just let him start talking to everybody early. And he got the seat before the music starts, because once the music started, I don't know how many seats would have been there for him. That was smart of him, and he's got a really good opportunity. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.